announcer than he was playing.
Yeah.
Hey, we saw Jordan Poole moving around. Everything looks good, but just to ask you, how's his ankle?
Yeah, it's fine.
Steve, did everybody else come out of last night okay?
Yep. I talked to Wiggs. He said his knee was really good, and nothing to report. So that's good news.
Probably no update on Kuminga, but he was just shooting.
Yeah,
how's he doing?
he's ramping it up quite a bit, and had a great workout today. Had one yesterday. Kenny's doing a great job with him, and Jonathan is really an exciting prospect, and so young. The young guys are just learning what this league is about, and the league is about work. It's about figuring out how to build that foundation at an early age, just like Steph and Klay and Draymond and Andre did 10, 15 years ago. That's what JK and James and Moses, that's what they have to do. It's one of the reasons Jordan Poole is now playing the way he is because what 2 years of working. And so that's what young guys have to figure out and learn, and JK is on a good path for that.
Following up on that, you talked a lot about how you guys have very clear goals this year compared to last
Yeah.
year. So how do you then balance that with integrating Moses and Jonathan when he comes back, and James?
Yeah, we are doing a lot more team drills, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, than we did a year ago. We probably did more individual drills last year, somewhat based on COVID protocol. We could only have a certain amount of people in the gym and all that stuff. But we really realized after last year that these young guys need to play basketball. They're all very skilled individually, but they need to see the pictures. They need to see the traffic on the court and kind of navigate through that. And the only way to do that is to play. And if they're not in the rotation in our games, then we've got to get them scrimmage time the next day, like on a day like today.
Steve, I've only been around Otto maybe a handful of times so far, but he's absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Did you know he was going to fit in this beautifully with this group? He's big picture like all of you are in terms of the world and not just basketball, it seems.
I didn't know Otto at all, and I always admired him from afar. He's 40% career three-point shooter, and length and versatility defensively. So he's always been a player I've admired. But I didn't know him. I had never spoken with him, and just getting to know him now and seeing what a good basketball player he is, but also what a fun person he is to be around, how well he fits into our group. It's really exciting. He's a great addition.
Hey, Steve, I know that you and others have mentioned how great Andre has looked, and clearly he's still having a good run. But whenever he decides this is it, what do you think's in store for him post-retirement?
He's taking over Mike Brown's spot. Right next to him. I haven't told Mike yet, but I haven't told Andre yet. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want any part of that. Andre can do whatever he wants. If he wants to be a head coach in the league, he could do that in his sleep. But he's also probably a lot smarter than that to make that decision. He's got a lot of options, and every player, I think, kind of has to get away from the game a little bit upon retirement, especially someone who plays as long as Andre has. So, when that day comes, he'll figure it out. But in the meantime, as he showed last night, he's got plenty left in the tank. So much fun to have him back out there. He's just so smart at both ends. Just a beautiful basketball player to watch and to coach.
That's obviously not surprising, but did you anticipate you'd see the conditioning that he's shown so far?
I watched him, help Miami get to the finals, like 13 months ago. And then when we played Miami last year, he was in at crunch time down there when they beat us. And so, this is exactly what I envisioned. I think the biggest thing for us is to navigate and pace Andre and help him do so and get through the 82. Not going to play every game. We've got to strategically find time off for him. make sure he's healthy and ready to roll for the playoffs. But man, when he's out there, he just makes an impact in every dimension.
Steve, obviously it's a long season, but early on, just how important is the depth going to be for your team when you talk about guys like Andre or Steph who maybe need some breaks, need some time to rest, and we just saw incredible depth last night?
Yeah, I thought the depth was the key to the game. You know, we played all 12 guys, even Gary. You know, Gary played 7 seconds. He made a steal and almost, made a running shot at the end of the third quarter. Every guy can play, and we got guys who are injured right now. Obviously, Klay especially. James, who is just an enormous talent. J.K., same thing, just incredibly gifted young guys. So we have a really deep team this year, and it's exciting. It's also challenging because there's only so many minutes, but this team is really committed to each other, and I think they understand that in order to be a great team, to do something special, then you have to make personal sacrifice, and I have no doubt they're all making that.
Going back to Jordan Poole, do you wish that there was more patience in the NBA, more time for development, and maybe even more kindness among critics or fans or media even to let guys blossom?
Yeah, I mean, he's still so young, and this is the beginning of his third year, and this is kind of how it's supposed to happen. In my experience playing in the league, guys didn't really figure it out until their second or third year. And Jordan figured it out sort of the second half of his second season. In my mind, that's pretty quick. But in the world we live in, of instant gratification, everybody wants it to happen right away. Same thing's happening with James, and same thing will happen with Jonathan, and everybody's going to want this to happen right now, but life doesn't work that way in any field, any endeavor. So you got to build a wealth of knowledge, and you got to build a skill set, and that's our whole plan here. And maybe the biggest challenge is to convince all these young guys that all this work is going to pay off down the road, and to be patient, because the world around us doesn't allow for patience.
When the situation dictated that in year one Poole was playing, did you see him go through some mental anguish that he wasn't performing as well as he wanted to, or grasping things as well as he wanted to? Like he wanted to advance himself even quicker as well?
Yeah, he was forced into a lot of playing time, and it was good for him in the end. I mean, one part of the league that's never changed is you have to go through a lot of adversity to figure out how to make it. And James last year went through a lot of adversity, had some amazing moments, and then he had some low moments. And I don't know that that's any different for any player other than maybe, Michael Jordan and Magic and Bird, guys who just enter the league, LeBron, who enter the league like that. Steph Curry will be the first to tell you, his rookie year was not, not that easy, and it's not easy for anybody. So a big part of this league is survival early on, and if you can survive, then you grow stronger.
Steve, along those lines, you had added some development coaches last year, and the way your new configuration of your coaching staff is the same focus on development with those young guys? I mean, it's a little different look of your staff, but the same kind of approach.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really more of a structural difference, but we felt like we needed some new ideas as well. Okay. But I thought, the guys over the last few years did an amazing job. Chris DeMarco, Aaron Miles working with Jordan helped him become the player he's become. I think what we've tried to do this year is sort of change the actual format of our practice time, add more team drills, change the timing of our film and our time in the weight room, time on the court. So a lot of this came through really kind of reassessing everything about our program and putting our heads together in collaboration with the players, with the training staff, and figuring out a format that really would allow us to flourish. And so I've had a lot of players come up to me this year and just say how much they love the new format, and it's just like anything else. You constantly have to be trying to get better, and that's what we're trying to do.
Were those conversations over, I mean, during summer league? When were you able to have those conversations once you guys all separate for the summer, and then you're in Tokyo? And
yeah, so in terms of the format, it came sort of in multiple levels, but Rick Celebrini and Steph and Draymond talked in the middle of the summer about maybe changing the format of practice. We used to get work in and then watch film and then go right to practice, and now we're watching film right away, and then we have an hour-long stretch. We call it the golden hour, where we just have an hour-long stretch where guys there's three teams of three groups and 3 stations. They're either on the floor, in the weight room, or in the training room, and it allows for a really good flow for practice. And then we have a lot of new ideas, different things that we're doing in practice that have come from some of the new coaches that we've hired. We just felt like we needed some, kind of a fresh approach, and so far I think all the players have really appreciated it. I know I appreciate it, and it's again just trying to adapt and keep getting better.
How much of that, Steve, was based on the fact that you have such a different composition of your roster than you had before, where you had a lot of veteran players, you knew your rotations and everything, and now you've got this blend these last couple of years. How much of that was a factor in changing?
A big factor. We knew that coming into this year, we had to figure out ways to give our young guys development without being able to give them a ton of time on the floor. The last 2 years we sort of threw Jordan Poole and James Wiseman in the deep end, and it was sink or swim one night to the next. And we don't have to do that this year because of the depth of our team. And so I think it allows for a really good natural progression and development. And then as they go and they continue to build that foundation, just like Jordan has, they'll break into the rotation when the time is right. And the great thing about it is this, for our fans' sake, like the whole idea is this will allow us to transition to the next iteration of this team. We want the Warriors to be great for the next decade, just like they have been for the last decade. So we feel good about being able to win now and develop for the future.
I know last night you weren't pleased with the first half. How much of that was just the first game, and what did you see out there that you fixed at halftime? It looks like.
I thought it was first game jitters. I thought we were trying too hard to attack the rim. We forgot about their size. Lakers are probably the biggest team in the league, and the only way to attack size is with ball movement. You can't just attack size going right at the rim and trying to finish over the top of people. We did that too often, and we had 12 turnovers, just some careless mistakes. And I thought at halftime the guys really settled in, made the easy play, and that's why we got much better looks in the second half. But I thought Steph was brilliant. I mean, it's so funny, hearing him. He's so hard on himself, and he says he played like trash, and we're watching the tape, and he's literally drawing a double team every single play and creating a 4-on-3. His ability to get the ball out of the trap is as good as anybody I've ever seen. And once it's out, it's a 4-on-3. And because of our roster, because of all these guys being able to shoot and pass, you got Belly, getting the ball on a 4-on-3 and dicing people up, and guys knocking down jumpers, and it's beautiful to watch.
Steve, was Otto Porter Jr. on any minutes restriction last night?
Yeah. Doesn't mean that he didn't play as many minutes because of that. It's just we were just making the substitutions we felt made the most sense, matching up. One of the things I've told the guys, and I think they've latched onto it, is there's going to be a different look night after night based on our depth. So Otto could play 25 minutes tomorrow, but and then if that happens, then we'll be getting questions about why a different guy didn't play, as much as he normally would. So we have a deep team and we're going to use it, but that requires everybody to accept whatever happens that night.
Steve, with this restructuring, are you willing to offer what a couple of your new coaches brought? I mean, specifics and names from these guys in terms of what?
I'd rather keep that
Sure.
private, but I think that one of the hard parts with this, I think we've had an incredible staff for the last 7 years, and we've had a lot of amazing people come through here, and guys who I just adore, and one of the difficult parts of this business is that it's very transient, and you have to constantly be adapting and changing, and so the idea was not, oh my God, we're not good at that. The idea was just, we need some fresh ideas. We need some new blood, and we felt it as an organization, and so we made some moves to address that. And I will say that between Kenny and Jama and Decky, all three guys have been head coaches. Jama in the G League, and Kenny in the NBA, Decky in Serbia. And all three are really heavily focused on development. So they've all come in with a lot of really, good ideas and that we've implemented. So they've all done a great job.
I ask because we see with the Giants, he has this huge staff and so many different backgrounds that have led to turning things around. So
no, I think coaching matters for sure, and when you have things in place well, and you feel like guys are really getting better and trusting the instruction they're getting, it's there's a great vibe, and I think that's what we have. So it's exciting.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for sharing on that.